For Michigan State football, a renewed sense of hunger and competition has bloomed this spring, as the Spartans are eager to put last season in the rear view and replace it with a view from the championship mountaintop. Today, that team is on display for the first time in front of Spartan Nation, capping off a spring they believe has laid the foundation for a successful fall ahead. It's the Michigan State Spring Football Kickoff on Big Ten Network next. Football is back in East Lansing, Michigan, as we welcome you inside Spartan Stadium. A great crowd filing in for the spring football finale in front of Spartan Nation. The band is here. It's admittance day for new freshmen who will be coming in the fall. They are in the building. And man, it's a beautiful afternoon for football. 84 degrees, barely a cloud in the sky. Sparty loves it, and so do we. We're glad to have you with us inside the booth. Everybody, Matt Schumacher, alongside the former Iowa Hawkeye, Anthony Herron. Listen, we know last year was not the season Michigan State wanted, going 5-7. We chatted with Mel Tucker this week. He sensed an undercurrent of this prove-it mentality in this program, Anthony, that he likened to the team in 2021.
They really felt that year, and you think a year ago this time, Matt, there was so much chatter around Spartan football, but a lot of it from the folks on the outside talking championships. And talking to Mel Tucker this week, he doesn't mind the fact that the expectations and the noise around Spartan football is a little bit dampened, but the competitive depth is much better.
Well, you just said the word that has been the buzzword of this spring. Competition at every position. The one that all the fans are talking about, though, quarterback.
And I really think that Peyton Thorne has been a guy as a multi-year starter who's been exceptional throughout much of his career. He will get challenged, though. One of those challenges will come from Noah Kim, but even a younger player who hasn't played much yet, Caden Hauser, they're really excited about what he brings to the table.
They're also excited about the defensive side of the football, an area that they struggled last year that fans have question marks about. One guy they don't have a question mark about, though, Jacoby Whitman.
And he's a player who had to start last season after he transferred in playing defensive end, which he really hadn't done much of throughout his career. Played it exceptionally well. Now he's going to be back to more of his off-ball linebacker position and the depth across the board. Aaron Brule, even Jordan Hall, a freshman coming in, they really feel like they're going to be stacked at LB.
Plenty of returners, 30 players return on this team for Michigan State with starting experience from a year ago, but some newcomers as well. We'll get to see them all this afternoon for the Michigan State Spring Football Kickoff. Welcome back to East Lansing, Michigan. Spartan Nation filing into Spartan Stadium for the Spring Football Kickoff. As we send it down to the third member of our crew, Darian Harris. He is with Mel Tucker.
Here with head coach Mel Tucker ahead of your third spring game, fourth overall season as Michigan State Spartans head coach. What are you looking forward to getting most out of today's spring game?
Well, I'll tell you what, this is practice 15 for us, and I told our players, just like any other practice, we just want to get better. We want to see our guys play with toughness, we want to see discipline, and we want them to be selfless with a relentless mindset throughout the whole practice.
We have a couple new coaches that are looking forward to their first spring game as Michigan State Spartans, specifically Coach Salgado on the defensive side and Coach Reynolds as well on the defensive side. What are you looking to get out of them today as they experience their first spring game as Spartans?
Yeah, I want them to enjoy it. The Woodshed is special. It'll be their first game as Spartans, and for all of us, every time we get a chance to come in here, it's a special event. Get a chance to enjoy our fans. Obviously, they're going to coach their guys up, but I want them to enjoy the experience as well.
80 degrees today, but as you said earlier, it's like there's 300 days out of the year in East Lansing, right? So, like, this weather's not a surprise for you, is it?
Hey, this is just every day for us. 80 degrees and sunny, all day, every day.
Absolutely. Thank you, Coach. Talk to you later.
Thank you, Darian. Thank you, Coach. The funny thing is, we were talking to Mel Tucker earlier this week. He said, we finally feel like we're done with snow. In East Lansing. So this is actually a bit of a surprise. You were here last year. It was rainy. It was cold. This is picture perfect. And we're going to see a little bit of everything today, Anthony. It's not going to be a traditional white versus green. We're going to see position groups, drills, one-on-ones. We will see a little 9-on-9 with tackling as well.
So you're going to get something out of it, certainly from a fan perspective, and as Mel Tucker was describing to us, and he's been describing it in some public appearances as well. The initiative is going to be to make sure that they're productive today. You certainly want to keep bodies protected because on the whole, he loves the depth like we referenced in the program, but to have that competition, you want to make sure you're putting guys in competitive situations that really suit them. He's made it a point throughout the spring here not to match up extremely young guys. They had a number of true freshmen who are in since January, not necessarily matching them up with guys who they're going to be overmatched by physically in a lot of the drills. And so in the game today, the practice today, one thing that'll really stand out that's different from like you referenced when I was here last year is the fact that they had hardly any offensive linemen available last season for the spring showcase. There was 5 guys available up front on offense. They moved a couple of defensive linemen over, and, they made it work. But today's situation will be different where the offensive line, they've had nearly 20 bodies available to them earlier in spring practice. So they'll be able to go with a little bit more tempo up front, especially on offense, than where they were a year ago.
And the offensive coordinator, Jay Johnson, told us that has made all the difference. Having a healthy offensive line that is practicing together for the entirety of the spring. He said we look night and different compared to this time a year ago.
When you think about the fact that Mel Tucker and Jay Johnson have worked together for a long time, but Mel Tucker wants an approach where they're going to run the football. So you want depth at running back, you want an experienced quarterback who can make sure they're getting you in the proper plays, making adjustments to the blocking schemes or to the direction of the run scheme when necessary, but also depth and talent on the offensive line. Think back to 2 seasons ago when they're exceptional throughout that year and certainly had Kenneth Walker III. It was a different story where they had so many guys who could rotate in, and Kenneth Walker III ended up emerging as that lead ball carrier. But on the offensive line, they could rotate multiple groups through, even in game when they needed to, and that hopefully from a Spartan perspective will develop back to what the situation will become this season.
Well, Chris Kapilovic brings back all 5 offensive linemen who started the last 2 games of the 2022 campaign. They also add a couple of 4-star freshmen and then the top-ranked interior offensive lineman coming out of JUCO this year, Keyshawn Blackstock.
It's huge for them, and when you think about the offensive tackle position and how much within their scheme, the offensive tackle will end up having some additional pressure on the O-tackle as he's operating, then that's going to be big for this run game to find not only that initial starter, but to be in a position where not only during spring practice, not only during fall camp, but as you get into the regular season, to put those players in competitive scenarios where they'll have the opportunity to showcase that they can handle critical moments in the game, short yardage, goal-to-go scenarios where you need your guys up front to be able to step forward and move people off the ball. And when you have depth, you can practice that at a higher level, and it suits your game scenarios much better.
Well, you just talked about it a couple of minutes ago. Depth at offensive line. They feel like they have that. They didn't have it last year. It's a big reason why some of these results didn't go Michigan State's way. In addition to that, at the end of the season, they were missing players on both sides due to injury and suspension. You look at the results, Anthony, there was probably 3 games, maybe 4 games that this team could have won, even with those injuries and suspensions. That's why there's so much anticipation for the 2023 campaign.
And it's a part of why Mel Tucker has adjusted his approach a little bit this spring to do what they can to ensure more health going into the year. You certainly can't guarantee it. Football is a fast-paced game, a violent game, a collision sport. So you can only do what you can to a certain extent to be as healthy as possible. But then once you get into the regular season, the amount of tempo that's available to you, when you go through fall camp, then that can put you in a better position to be ready from game 1 to play at a high tempo once you start off the season.
We chatted with Mel Tucker earlier this week. You asked him, what tweaks have you made this spring? And he said, well, we've kind of actually made spring more like NFL OTAs. There is some contact, but we're trying not to bring guys to the ground on every play. They're practicing more like pros, something you know a little bit about.
And think about what it can mean to a quarterback like Peyton Thorne. You think his first year as a starter a couple of years ago, where he did have, it was an offensive line that the year before Peyton Thorne became the starter, didn't play at a high level, but there was a lot of experience that came into that 2021 season, and then they enhanced the depth with some of the talent that came in via the transfer portal as well that year. Last season, we've been talking about those injuries. Peyton Thorne never looked as comfortable early in the season and throughout last year. Part of that was that they couldn't run the football, but then also pass protection broke down more frequently. So this year, as healthy, as deep as they can be up front on the offensive line, you can expect that guy we're looking at right there, Peyton Thorne, and even throughout the day-to-day. We'll talk about the competition that's going on at quarterback, but he individually, the quarterback position at large, can be much more comfortable when you know you have bodies that can roll through, compete at a high level, and then once you get to the regular season, it'll put the entire program in a stronger position to compete at a high level in games.
By the way, we will see Peyton Thorne throw a football today. This is just the flex period.
Right.
A lot of stretching, getting loose, getting mobile as fans continue to file in here at Spartan Stadium. But you referenced something a minute ago about incoming players in the transfer portal. It's something that Mel Tucker and his staff have just gotten better at every year that they've been here, and he feels like this is the best transfer portal class they've had in his tenure at Michigan State.
That's saying something. It really is when you think about some of the exceptional talent that Mel Tucker has brought in. He's been known as a coach who's utilized the transfer portal as well as anyone in the country, been as aggressive in the portal as any coach in college football. We've referenced Kenneth Walker III. What K9 meant to this program a couple of seasons ago when they won 11 games. We talked about Jacoby Windman. What he meant to them, especially early in the season transferring in from UNLV, to call this the deepest, the best transfer portal class that Mel Tucker has brought in his time as a Spartan coach. That is a big statement. The fact that he's willing to make that big statement really should give Spartan fans a lot of confidence in the talent that's been added.
And if you just look at the right-hand column, the positions that they brought in, you can tell very quickly the points of emphasis for the coaching staff at the portal. Tight end, they miss now Hunt and Barker leaving the program for graduation. At running back, they have two leaving as well. Now two really strong running backs come in Mangum and Carter. And then, of course, defensive line, which I know you were really excited about coming into the spring. Not everyone is available today, but we do expect that to be one of the strong suits of this team in 2023.
If that can become the defensive front, one of the strengths for this ball club, for Scotty Hazelton as a defensive coordinator, for Mel Tucker as a defensive-minded head coach, to be able to lead with their guys on defense, then that'll pay huge dividends to the secondary. A defensive backfield that had 2 interceptions last year. That was at the bottom of the country. We're looking at Scotty Hazelton right there, the defensive coordinator. 2 interceptions was the lowest amount in the entire football bowl subdivision last season. So you need to improve on that number, but it's not only on the secondary. How do you create pressure with those guys up front? You know, Hazelton, Tucker, they've kind of become known as a combination that likes to be very aggressive on defense, but they prefer not to have to be aggressive on defense, not to feel it's necessary to add additional bodies via the blitz from the second and the third level, to know that they can actually get pressure on the opposing quarterback.
Well, we will step aside for our first commercial break. We promise football is coming.
Oh, yeah.
We are closing out the flex period to start this spring football kickoff. Stay with us on Big Ten Network. July 15th, the BTN Big 10K returns to Soldier Field in Chicago for the fantastic 10K and 5K races, plus a tailgate party. Scan the QR code to register right now at btnbig10k.com. Earlier today in East Lansing, the Izzo Legacy 5K Run, Walk, and Roll took place. It proceeds the Izzo Family Legacy Fund, which goes towards charitable contributions. They finished in the stadium this morning. I think I saw Anthony Herron running past my hotel this morning in that.
I race walk so fast that it can look like I'm at a full sprint. I've become a very, very effective race walker. I don't get both feet off the ground at any given time. You have to follow the rules, heel toe, heel toe. But my knees are past the point where it's a good idea for me to take off in a full sprint at any point.
Adaptability is key.
Yeah, you got to evolve over the years.
Still going through the flex period here at Michigan State as players are now heading towards positional drills, and this one is called ball security. Big crowd on hand this afternoon. Look at this. 83 degrees, barely a cloud in the sky. It is admittance weekend for all the incoming freshmen who have already been admitted to Michigan State. They have come with their families. Lots going on in campus today, not just with the Izzo 5K. There's a baseball game, there's a softball game, and of course, spring football going on.
There's been a lot of juice around Spartan football over the years here for understandable reasons since Mel Tucker has taken over. And so with that in mind, it's a good combination of events that we're here with the Tom Izzo event, with some baseball and softball going on this weekend, some excitement even around the women's basketball program. Robin Freilich has taken over as their new head coach. There's been a lot of news by Alan Haller, the athletic director, Michigan State Spartans athletics here during this time of the year. So we'll see what it ends up meaning. But right now, what we're seeing them working on, like you referenced, is ball security, and specific to the football team here, it's going to be huge for them this season because they can still be very explosive as an offense and try to create those big plays. But, to get the running back position going, to make sure that not only as ball carriers, but as pass receivers out of the backfield, that they're in a position to create explosive plays. Jalen Berger returns as a starter, but beyond him, who else can you count on? Can you see one of these other guys, whether it's someone who's been here like Jordan Simmons or transferring in like Nathan Carter, Jaron Mangum? Can one of those other guys help add some additional pop, some additional juice from the running back position?
Well, we've talked a lot about Nathan Carter off air coming into this event this afternoon. He went viral earlier this spring because of what he was doing in the weight room. He looks like a Big Ten back, and the coaches said the reason he chose Michigan State, he wants to be challenged at this level of Division I football.
He's an exceptionally talented football player, and we certainly have seen recent examples of guys who've come here and played for Mel Tucker. And part of that is, he could have stayed at UConn and continued to be their lead ball carrier there, but to be challenged by the Big Ten Conference, to be challenged by Michigan State football, and to know that Mel Tucker is going to be a coach who wants to use the approach offensively to keep the tailback involved. And in theory, they won't necessarily want it to be just one individual back. It may develop into that, but we'll see as the season moves forward. The tailback's going to get the ball a lot.
Tom Izzo, I think, has been taking photographs since 8 a.m. this morning. The 5K ended in the stadium. There was a line looped around the entire infield of Spartan Stadium to get pictures and shake Tom Izzo's hand. His basketball team, of course, coming off a great run at March Madness earlier this spring. And just a great day for Michigan State athletics this afternoon in East Lansing. We told you softball, baseball, Tom Izzo's deal earlier on today, football going on, the changeover for women's basketball. Lots of things to be excited about if you're a Spartan athletics fan.
To have a football coach in Mel Tucker who understands what he has available to him from the basketball coach, Tom Izzo. And Tom Izzo will readily admit, if you ask him, football's his favorite sport. Basketball is what he knows well, what he coaches. And we've seen a number of examples over the years of football players who've crossed over into the basketball arena. Also, one of those is Keon Coleman, who we'll talk about quite a bit today as a wide receiver, but now fully committed to football. And there was open communication between Mel Tucker and Tom Izzo just in trying to figure out what the future of Keon Coleman would end up holding, what the future of Malik Carr, one of the tight ends, would end up holding as well. And they want to encourage athletes to be versatile, certainly as they've been able to encourage them, but in the end, which path is really going to make more sense? Which focus will end up leading to more opportunities for these playmakers that they have access to?
It was a difficult decision, too, for both Keon Coleman and Malik Carr. Two guys that, as Mel Tucker told us, love basketball. Malik Carr's mom played for the late, great Pat Summitt at Tennessee. His dad is still a college basketball coach, but ultimately those two.
I love basketball too. Hey, we all just have our certain path that's going to suit us better as athletes, but hey, hoops is my first love.
Plus, if you're playing at the Breslin Center in front of a sold-out Spartan Nation with the students wearing the white T-shirts, jumping up and down, I don't know too many other environments that are going to get your juices flowing like that, but they chose football primarily so that they could really dig into this sport. They both see futures beyond college in football.
Exceptional atmosphere they have available at the Breslin Center. And I tell people constantly, when you come to East Lansing for a football game, when you come here to Spartan Stadium, to the Woodshed, Mel Tucker has been bringing the moniker the Woodshed back here over the last couple of seasons. This is an outstanding atmosphere, especially for a big game when the Spartans are on the field as well. And the additional excitement that's really been infused into the program since that wonderful 2021 season. You saw it kind of flatten out a little bit in 2022 with some of the expectations that were there. But I do believe that what we're seeing right now, what we'll see throughout the day today, from some of the competitive depth, that term that I'm using with the program, the way that can enhance how the program ends up preparing for game day, and then certainly what they'll have access to on game day will make a huge difference in the results on the field.
Getting a look at the offensive line here, a group that returns all 5 starters from the final 2 games of the season, plus they added in a couple of 4-star freshmen and the top junior college interior offensive lineman in Keyshawn Blackstock. And he wears number 54. When you see him flash on your screen, you know he's a dude ready to play in the Big Ten. There he is, transferring over from the junior college level.
You talked a little bit about play action earlier, Matt, and that aids everyone. When you're able to move people off the ball and make the defense feel threatened truly by your run game, it can set up a lot of those explosive plays. When you think back to that 2021 season, Kenneth Walker III was a huge key in that. All those yards, the touchdowns he put up. But you got to remember as well, the play action from Peyton Thorne to Jaden Reed, the other playmakers that were there on the outside, they picked up huge chunks in the passing game. And when you can do that, that just enhances schematically the way that your offensive line can feel comfortable.
Well, we've got a special treat for you. Tom Izzo is down on the field now with Darian Harris. Darian, take it away.
Down here with the Michigan State head basketball coach, Tom Izzo. Now, Coach, you've seen more spring games, not more than everybody in here probably, but more than probably most in here. First of all, has it ever been this nice?
No. The weather? You mean the weather?
I mean the weather.
You know what? I think I have seen more than most in here because you know my favorite sport is football, so I don't miss many spring games, and it's been great. Tuck's been great. I think I like what I've seen. I've been over at 3 or 4 practices in between being on the road, and but this weather, man, this is August and September weather.
Well, like Coach Tucker, said this morning, it's really like this 300 days out of the year in East Lansing, so we're really just playing it up. But
Isn't that for recruiting?
yeah, probably so.
He's lying.
But talk about your legacy race, the Izzo legacy race this morning. I'm sure it was unbelievable, again, opportunity for you to engage with the community and give back.
Well, that's what it is, you know, and we have 13 different charities we give to, which is probably too many, but it's also about teaching people what these charities are about. It's not just the money they get, but my wife and daughter have taken it over, and I show up. We went like 1,400 people more than last year. We had almost 5,000 people there today, and it was incredible. I mean, I was impressed.
Absolutely. Now, of course, everyone wants to talk basketball. Once the season ends, everybody's always looking forward to the next. Something Coach D'Antonio used to always say is your best recruits are the guys you can get back to return to school. You have 3 guys for sure that are coming back that would be probably considered 5-star recruits. Tyson Walker, Malik Hall, and Jaden Akins. Can you talk about those 3 and what it would mean to have them back?
It means a lot to have them back because that's, you know, we get AJ back now, and we got 4 guys that I think are as good as any, and then we got some recruits to come in to help. But you're right, there is nothing like experience. And you know what, this COVID years that everybody's having, last year we played against guys that were 23, 4, and 5. I mean, when we played Kansas State, they had some guys that were older, and you put an 18-year-old against them. So you need your veterans, as you do in football, as you know what it's like. Freshmen can help you win games. Not many freshmen win games for you.
But at the same time, a top 5 class coming in, and that shows that you're not slowing down, especially on the recruiting trail. So just what keeps you energized and going every single year to return as our head football coach, like basketball coach?
You know, Darius, what keeps me going is this. You know, like I've had opportunities to go to the NBA, and you're on a college campus. I couldn't live without football, so that's one thing. But I just think the energy and enthusiasm, and we went through a wicked 3 years with COVID. And now, you know, there used to be cardboard cutouts up here. Now they're people. People can yell at officials more. It's a better deal for you. So I'm really looking forward to this year. It's almost like a new beginning for all that we've been through.
And lastly, just, again, you're at every game, you're at a lot of practices, but when you're able to bring recruits out to see a football game, what does that do for them and what does that do for your program?
I had some pretty good classes when you played. You know, when you guys get it going, I mean, there's nothing like it. And Tuck does the same with us, you know. He gets his top recruits up on those weekends, and when you're winning and the crowd's going crazy, it's just a warm and fuzzy feeling. And so that's why I think it's so important that the sports stick together, you know. First of all, not many universities survive without football. It's just so big. But When you come down here on a football Saturday and you see this line here up, every of the 25 other coaches, everybody's here with their recruits. Tuck comes over and says hi. I've had my top guys in his locker room. It's special, and he does the same for me.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Coach. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Darius.
Thanks, Coach. Thank you, Darian. Always fun to hear from Tom Izzo, and he and Mel Tucker have developed a really strong, tight relationship, not just because they've been sharing players over the last couple of years, but they see each other all the time in the athletics facilities. And of course, Tom Izzo, as he mentioned, such a huge proponent of college football and this program. Now we're getting a look at quarterback, and we talked about this battle at the top of the show. Anthony, this is the battle that everyone's been talking about outside of the program. Peyton Thorne, of course, the 2-year captain, the 2-year starter, the incumbent, but he's getting good competition, not just from Noah Kim, but also Katin Hauser.
They're excited about the depth that they have available at the QB position. When you can feel like this, having a multi-year starter, this may potentially end up being the 3rd year for Peyton Thorne as a starting quarterback. Here's a guy who got some All-Big Ten recognition a couple of years ago, led them from behind in a January 6th bowl game. His productivity, his consistency, efficiency took a step back last season. There's no doubt about that. But that being said, you can understand the leadership that he brings to the table and the playmaking that he can access. I love the fact, though, that he hasn't flinched at all at the thought of being challenged. Mel Tucker just flat out saying that every job is open, including quarterback, where I've got a multi-year starter at that position who's won a lot of games. Now one of the all-time leading passers in program history. But to say that Noah Kim has earned the opportunity to challenge Peyton Thorne, that Katin Hauser and all the excitement that his big arm brings to the table will now have an opportunity to challenge for quarterback play. In theory, especially knowing the competitor that Peyton Thorne is, that should step his game up. You want to make sure that everyone feels challenged on a consistent basis, and the quarterback is one who's included in that conversation.
The big stat that everyone is circling on that screen is the rushing offense, 113 yards per game. It was the 2nd lowest for this program since 2003. You referenced the importance of the play action. Peyton Thorne had 27 touchdown passes in 2021. 12 of those were off play action. Last year, he had a 1/3 of the play action touchdown passes that he had in 2021. And Jay Johnson, the quarterback coach and the offensive coordinator, wants to change that this year.
And to know that your quarterback is experienced, has an understanding of the system, it's huge in the level of aggression that Jay Johnson can continue to call the offense with, that Mel Tucker wants his offense called with. When you can set up the opponent by utilizing the run game, you can dictate terms to them to set up some chunk passing opportunities, using the play action, using the flea flicker that became so popular a couple of seasons ago. And one thing that Peyton Thorne has the ability to do that we didn't necessarily see as much of, he can be a runner as a quarterback, but Noah Kim, you kind of hear the level of excitement that Mel Tucker and his staff have with what Noah Kim may allow them to access offensively with his ability to run as a quarterback. Noah Kim is one of the faster players on this football team, and so him with the football in his hands in limited reps so far last season, we've seen he's got a talented arm. He can throw on the move, but what we haven't seen him have an opportunity to really access in game yet is the ability to take off, tuck the football, and run it. That's one of those things that can even give him an enhanced advantage perhaps in this competition.
So we've talked a lot about the offense, and now it's time to shift our focus to the defense as we get set to start period 4 of this spring football kickoff. And defense, obviously, over the last 2 years has been a weakness at times for this Michigan State team. We talked about the pass defense, rated 85th or deeper over the last 2 seasons. They returned, though, 6 second-year players in the defensive backfield who have experience because of all the injuries this team suffered a year ago.
If there's a position on the football team where cohesion matters most, it's offensive line. But really, it's underrated how just a step behind that is the defensive backfield. You want a secondary that at a moment's notice can communicate with each other at a high level. I mean, Scotty Hazelton, he coaches the linebacker position specifically. They're going to be very experienced coming back there this year. But then on the back end, where the linebacker, you break the huddle if you do huddle in a certain situation, they're making the initial call. But all the different motions and formations and tempos that you see from the opposing offense, your secondary has to be able to communicate, whether you're going a 4 defensive back set, 5 DBs, sub packages. You want to make sure that you're going to be in a position where your DBs can flow. But I think for the linebackers, for that second level of your defense, kind of your traffic cop, is going to be coached here by defensive coordinator Scotty Hazelton. Having Jacoby Windman and knowing with certainty he will be the majority of the time at the second level as an off-ball linebacker, that's the most comfortable position for him. When he left the lineup late in the season last year, Aaron Brule was a player who emerged more. But the leading returning per game tackler, averaged 10 tackles a game last season, was Cal Halliday. That's the main traffic cop at the second level of this Spartans defense. So you have experience, you have productivity, you have versatility. I'm really excited about what the linebackers will bring to the table this year.
And also, I'd be remiss if we didn't mention Darius Snow returning, and this is a guy who in 2021 started 9 games, was a big part of that defense that won the Peach Bowl, went 11-2. He went out last year after the first half of the first game of the season. They missed him the rest of the year. Getting him back just elevates that position group to another level. You see him here not participating in these drills in particular as he's still getting recovered, but he will be ready to go come fall.
I mean, when you can say that a guy as talented, as gifted as Darius Snow may not even be one of your starters, may not be one of your main contributors, but situationally to get a sense for where he suits you best. If we're going to bring him in our sub packages to be a guy who can play at the second and third level, that gives you such scheme versatility with the way that you can try to deploy the talent that will be available there. And the same thing, like we were talking about with Jacoby Windman up front, if perhaps first and second down he's an off-ball linebacker, but then third down you do move him up to the edge and he's a defensive end, a pass rusher, able to turn the corner for you. They've got some pieces, some chess pieces that Hazelton and Tucker will be able to do some things with if they get these guys to the season healthy.
Health. Man, has that been a buzzword this spring or what? Last year they just didn't have it. Now there's some groups where guys are a little bit nicked up. They're not participating today because they're on the mend. It's nothing serious, but that's a big reason why we're having more of a glorified practice as opposed to a traditional spring quote-unquote game. Some guys on the D-line not participating, but overall, Anthony, this team is deeper, more talented, and certainly healthier this time this year compared to this time last year.
Without a doubt. And what that can end up doing, you know, I talked to Mel Tucker about this even yesterday on Big Ten Today, on the Big Ten Network. The fact that they didn't get the opportunity for any of those additional bowl practices, which can be so key. It's great to have an opportunity to win a bowl game. They didn't make a bowl last year, so you don't get those extra 15 bowl practices to try and continue to have that on-field development for some of your younger talent. But you certainly utilize winter conditioning. I mean, a guy even like Keon Coleman, utilizing winter conditioning where he wasn't with the basketball team this time around, you can develop your bodies, get healthy, get bigger, faster, and stronger. When you have all this talent that comes in the transfer portal, you can start to involve them in your program right off the bat. So it's one of those things. It's going to be a negative. Anytime a program who has high expectations doesn't make a bowl game, that's a negative. But how do you turn that into a positive? You make sure that you immediately, and this is the approach Mel Tucker took, get those guys involved in everything you're doing. Start to ingrain them in the lifeblood of your program, using winter conditioning, winter workouts to be able to do that was certainly something the Spartans took advantage of.
Dyron Reynolds, the first-year defensive line coach, coming over, one of 2 new coaches on the defensive side of the ball. We'll see Jim Salgado, the new cornerback coach, a little bit later on. They are loaded, though, at this position. They brought in 3 transfers on this side of the football, 2 of them huge transfers in the portal on the defensive line. We won't see them today. Jarrett Jackson and Dre Butler, both, though, figure to be massive contributors come 2023 fall.
As a coach, Dyron Reynolds is a guy that Mel Tucker's been trying to get on his staffs for about 15 years at this point. Going back to time in the National Football League, he's been looking to hire Dyron Reynolds because of the brand of teacher, defensive line teacher that he is. He's had so many guys that have been moving on to the National Football League, playing at a high level. He's coached at a high level at both the pro and collegiate level. When you look at what the rush defense did, what the total defense did last season, all the numbers were down defensively last year. To get more productivity up front will end up being huge. They want to hit blocks first and second down, get after the QB on third down.
Well, and Mel Tucker's a defensive guy, too.
Right.
You know this year, going into the new season, defense a point of emphasis. We are going to step aside, and we'll have special teams when we come back. A little kick, punt, catch coming your way next in East Lansing. Celebrate the historic return of the Michigan Panthers on Sunday, April 30th at Ford Field. Fantastic seats right next to the action. Start at just $10. My man Anthony Herron, he's going to be right up and close in the booth for this next season of the USFL. Should be fun. A couple of Michigan State Spartans still playing. Jared Horst was just drafted. If he doesn't go to the NFL, he's got the USFL, but it's great to have football year-round, right?
It's one of those examples of guys who transferred in while Mel Tucker was here. Came out of the junior college ranks and played at a high level for the Spartans. See a number of them, handful of guys who are in the USFL right now. So really looking forward to being involved in that spring football coverage. Been involved in some spring football leagues myself in the past, and everyone was so excited about the relaunch of the USFL. So you have that prominent brand that's been around in years past, and now it's just another opportunity. There are so many gifted football players out there, and there's just only so many NFL roster spots to go around. So now the development of those guys can end up making a big difference in their opportunities to maybe pursue NFL careers yet again, or perhaps just to enjoy playing spring football as professionals for years.
Great day for the spring football finale here in East Lansing. Now let's go back down to Darian Harris with Benny Fowler.
Down here with Spartan Dog legend, Super Bowl champ, philanthropist, author, on and on and on, Benny Fowler. Benny, you're obviously going to pay a lot of attention to the wide receiver position. Am I correct there?
Absolutely. That's where you make the money, in the receiver room. So, yes, I will be paying attention to that all day today.
What have you seen so far? Because you've been to a few practices, just out of the guys that we have returning on the team today.
I think we're going to see consistency. Keon Coleman, I just love his playmaking ability, but I think consistency all the way around, similar to the teams that we won with. It'll be done by committee. You know, you're missing Jaden Reed this year, but I think it'll be done by committee. I'm super happy with the consistency that I've seen.
Now, again, I love to talk about this because it's exciting. I go down your resume of quarterbacks you've played with. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Eli Manning, Drew Brees, here, of course, at Michigan State, Kirk Cousins and Connor Cook. A lot of talk about the quarterback position here at Michigan State. Just what would be your advice to all three of our guys that are looking for an opportunity to start this year about how to galvanize and command a team?
I mean, when I think about that, and we talked about this, that's what all those quarterbacks were great at, that, bringing a team together. So that's what I would encourage them to do, is find that rapport and build those rapport with your receivers, your running backs, your tight ends, but also the defense. You are the leader of that team, so stay consistent in who you are and lead. That's what the quarterback position is all about, leadership. So that's what I would encourage them to do. Galvanize the team, get together on and off the field, after practice, before practice. That's what those quarterbacks did really well.
And lastly, you know, you have, I'm sure, a bunch of fond memories from your time playing here at Michigan State, but your final year, we were able to win a Rose Bowl, the 100th Rose Bowl. Can you talk about that team? Darquez and Nars here today as well. Some of our teammates are here from those teams. What did that team mean to you, and how special was that year?
That team was everything for me. The relationships that we have, it was just an unbreakable bond. And the momentum that we had that entire season, it was just caught lightning in a bottle. And when I think about it, when I come into Spartan Stadium, all those memories that we had here, didn't lose a game here, going on the road, getting together, didn't lose any Big Ten games and win the Big Ten championship, you win a Rose Bowl. That is what it's all about. That's what it means to be a Spartan. That's what it means to be a champion. And it's just one of the most incredible memories and moments of my life.
Awesome. Thank you, Benny. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Benny. Thank you, Darian. Some wide receiver royalty in the building today as we get a look at the wide receivers getting work against the shell defense. It's a wide receiver room, not unlike many other positions, that Courtney Dawkins has said, we don't have a depth chart in our wide receiver room. Yes, Keon Coleman returns. He was the leading receiver a season ago. But Jayden Reed is gone, and the door is wide open for someone else to emerge as the number 1, number 2, and all the way down the list in the receiver core.
To be able to do that in this offense, it may not be an offense that gives, a volume of catches where you get multiple guys with 80-plus grabs in the same season. But putting the ball in the end zone and doing so with explosive potential is what you can get a lot out of at the wide receiver position within this Jay Johnson offense. They look for guys who can be big physical bodies. You look for guys who can be kind of slot receivers with run after catch ability. And you look for guys who can be an extension of your run game with jet sweeps, with handoffs, even screen passes and now routes where you expect it to stalk block out in space. So you're going to see a lot of receiver bodies on the field and how effective those individual pass catchers can become. Then it allows you that versatility and preferably the explosion that you want the wide receiver position to provide.
You just saw Tyrell Henry wearing number 2 at the wide receiver position on your screen a few moments ago. A sophomore that they're really excited about, really didn't play much offensively last year, was more of a special teamer, but another example of the depth. And that, I thought, was one interesting question you asked Mel Tucker about in our meeting with him earlier in the week. How do you feel about the depth at wide receiver with Jayden Reed going to the NFL, former All-American? He said, I feel really good about that position because of the explosive playmakers we have on the outside.
And when you think about when this program has been at its best, we saw some special teams work a moment ago. Who out of this receiver crew potentially will emerge as your punt returner, your kick returner? I mean, that's a role that's been assumed so well by Jayden Reed in recent years. They won games with his return ability alone. And so that's where the more bodies you can deploy that just show they have skill with the football in their hands. It doesn't mean you have to line up wide outside of the X and be one of these 80-plus catch guys. Where else can you show that you can be a playmaker, that you can be a contributor to winning on this football team?
Henry, one of the young guys in this wide receiver room. You think, too, about Antonio Gates Jr., of course, the son of the great NFL Hall of Famer Antonio Gates. He's in the mix after a redshirt freshman season. And, of course, Keon Coleman wearing number 0. No helmet on for this drill, but he's good to go. This is his first spring ball at Michigan State because he was previously playing with the basketball team. And as we know, Tom Izzo's teams usually make deep runs in March. So first time having a full spring off season, a full spring practice leading up to the spring game. They love what they have seen out of him over the last couple of weeks.
See him all tatted up there. He's got the sleeves on each arm. Takes a lot of pride in the body art. He views it as just kind of an extension of who he is as a competitor, as a person, what motivates him. Heard him talk about that quite a few times. But yes, not being on the basketball court in recent months has just allowed him to hone his skills as a receiver and potentially become even better at the bulk of the route tree, as opposed to being a guy who can run fast, pass a defender, be a jump ball target to make those contested grabs. Can you be someone who runs the full route tree effectively, and then for there, if he becomes the main focal point of this passing attack, you want to be able to move Keon Coleman around and make it difficult for the opposing defense to get a beat on him.
Well, we're moving on to period 7, talking running backs, and certainly that's another position group where a battle is emerging. Of course, Jalen Berger, last year's leading rusher, returns, but Nathan Carter has transferred in from UConn. Jaron Mangum has transferred in from South Florida. And Elijah Collins and Jarek Broussard are out. Collins in the transfer portal, Broussard entering the NFL draft. This is a wide open race, and the transfers have garnered a lot of attention from outside the program as we have gotten spring ball going.
Elijah Collins is a player who I believe on the whole will have the potential to do some things here. But when you think about Jalen Berger and what Jalen Berger was last season as the leading rusher, as the most consistent ground gainer, that ends up being something where you hope you can lean on him this season. And he's been a little bit up and down. Of course, a Wisconsin transfer, been a little bit up and down in his productivity throughout his career, but the talent is there. Not only the talent as a pure runner, but the talent as someone who can receive the ball out of the backfield. Jalen Berger was utilized as almost kind of an all-purpose back in high school. So he's got pass receiving skills. And when you think about what this offense can potentially become, we're talking about the receivers becoming extensions of the run game. maybe you can have Jalen Berger and perhaps other running backs become an extension of the passing game as well.
So interesting as we get into the fall camp and leading up to the beginning of the fall season. Anthony, how will the running back position shape up for Mel Tucker? Because we've seen over recent years them trying to develop a one back who's going to be the guy. We saw it with Kenneth Walker, of course. He was an absolute stud and a horse of this team, but then also shifting around last year until Jalen Berger really emerged midway through the season as the guy. How will that play out this fall? I think that's one really intriguing storyline in addition to quarterback.
The way that running back gets utilized, as I was just describing it, as not only a runner but a pass receiver, but then you think about a pass protector. We were looking a bit earlier at Nathan Carter. They were saying that actually it's been a pleasant surprise the way that he's been able to show some pass protection skill as well. And a lot of times when you set up play action, one of the things you end up needing to do as a running back, when you come off the mesh point, you don't have the football, you normally have an assigned blocking scheme that you have to pick up for whether it's an oncoming blitzer or a free rusher that's allowed to come through because you're showing run in the scheme. And so to show that you can be a pass protector as well and have those all-purpose skills will be huge for them to display.
Well, certainly competition, the buzzword for Mel Tucker. He told us we wanted competition at every position, not just quarterback, but all the way down to long snapper. They're actually bringing in another walk-on long snapper just to give Hank Pepper some competition. But tight ends is another group, right? Because Malik Carr is the most experienced returning tight end. He's a redshirt junior. They've also brought in a host of transfers. And I love what Tyneil Hopper said, the transfer from Boise State. His motto in college football, you block, you get the rock. That's the type of attitude that they've wanted offensively from their tight ends.
You love someone who wants to earn those opportunities as well. As defensive linemen, we're taught that you earn the right to rush the passer on third down. As tight end, you get into a scheme like this, you're told you need to block on first and second down. You need to block in the run game. Earn those opportunities to become a pass catcher as well. And I love that that's something that's already been ingrained in Tyneil Hopper in joining this program. Hamp Fay, former quarterback, is a part of that tight end group also. So they've got a variety of guys. We're going to see so many multi-tight end sets that the pass receiving skills of a Malik Carr, extremely athletic, big-bodied player that they can utilize, but how long can you stay on the field? And the more you can do effectively, not only as a receiver, but as a blocker as well, gives you more and more opportunities, more packages that the offensive coaching staff can keep you in.
Malik Carr got more and more playing time as the season went along. He scored a touchdown in each of the last 2 games of last year's regular season for Michigan State. And the nickname Malik the Freak, we talked about it earlier, foregoing basketball this year so that he could focus solely on football. And from what we've heard, it has translated into better technique, more leadership amongst his teammates. The same could be said for Keon Coleman at wide receiver.
Malik Carr, player who, when he was at Purdue before transferring here, played some receiver, played some tight end. That big body, though, you know that's the position he was going to grow into on a full-time basis at some point. That's certainly what he's been while he's been in East Lansing here, but 6'5", 245 pounds. There's a lot that they can hope to continue to do as Malik Carr develops more and more in this offensive scheme.
So what we're seeing here is some pass rush, and you talked about it. They want to see a better pass rush and better pass defense as a whole this year. Just 17 sacks a season ago. They do lose a couple of guys in Jacob Slade and Jalen Hunt, but they have brought in a monstrous class. It's probably the crown jewel of the transfer portal class at the defensive line position. And then, of course, the returners, such as Avery Dunn wearing number 98. Of course, Simeon Barrow wearing number 8 there on your screen. Dunn coming off a career year. Maverick Hansen coming off a career year. And this is a defensive line group that, Anthony, the coaches feel like is primed for a breakout season.
And you want to be in a position where you have not only enough healthy bodies, which they don't necessarily on the practice field at the moment, but like you referenced earlier, they're saying they expect all the guys who they hope will become main contributors to be healthy and plenty of time for fall camp. But by the time you get to the season, you still want to have enough effective bodies to roll players through on the defensive line, because when you can do that, you keep them fresh throughout the game. I mean, it's always been like this, where defensive line takes so much physical energy. It's, frankly, I played it. It's the least mentally taxing position on the field, aside from the specialists, of course, but it's the most physically taxing position to play. So when you can roll bodies through and keep them fresh, especially with the tempo, with the amount of offensive snaps that get run throughout a game, to have a variety of fresh bodies to roll through gives you an advantage, especially once you get to the fourth quarter of games. You still want to be playing downhill at your opponent, imposing your will on that opposing offensive line. And it's so difficult to do if you don't have the depth of body that you can roll through earlier in the game.
And that's what they didn't have last year, especially late in the season. Injuries, suspensions, they were rotating guys in and out. We saw Jacoby Windman at the pass edge rusher position, whereas they really want to utilize him at the linebacker spot this year. Now they have the depth to do that.
And, to have a player as talented as Jacoby Windman, and to be able to say, we can have you off the ball and then move you towards the defensive front and just bring in other bodies, former DBs into the sub package like we referenced earlier with Darius Snow. This should be a much deeper group at every level on defense this season than it was last year. And to be able to have a Jacoby Windman just showcase situationally those pass rush skills. Now it's not a full game where the opponent is game planning around that. That was one thing that happened last year, where Windman early in the season was lighting up the opponents as a pass rusher, but then you start to get a book on the guy and say, well, here's the moves he loves best in certain situations. You game plan around that, and it did decrease his productivity. Now this season, you can use that more situationally as opposed to every snap.
You're getting a look there at number 52, Tumishe Adelea, the number 17 transfer portal recruit this year, coming over from Texas A&M. He was their starting D-end a year ago, suffered a high ankle sprain. Game 4 of the season, didn't play again for the Aggies, looking for a fresh start. He's a guy they expect to cause a lot of problems for opposing Big Ten teams this year.
And when you can get them into positions where you say that we've hit blocks effectively, we've stopped the run on first and second down, then to have talented players come in. And one thing that Mel Tucker said was he wanted to get bigger across the board, not only have just a kind of depth of talent, but a specific body type that he was hoping to be able to add to that defensive line. And Adelea is one of those guys who gives you more, not only just pure skill and athleticism, but size at a position that you want. You don't necessarily want to have a Jacoby Windman as a smaller defensive end have to play a bunch for you. Adelea is a guy who's got your more traditional defensive end build.
You mean a guy like you?
I mean, in theory, sure.
Stout.
Yes.
Beefy.
Certainly like the guy I used to be, without a doubt.
Yeah. Mel Tucker and Scotty Hazelton, the defensive coordinator, sort of echoed each other's sentiments. They said, when you walk into the defensive lineman room, we look like Big Ten defensive linemen. And certainly Tumishe Adelea, one of those. As you get a look there at Scotty Hazelton making the jog across midfield.
I would imagine Scotty Hazelton with that beard, he's probably one of the warmer guys down there on the field right now. The temperatures are climbing. We're up into the 80s today. I don't know, you've got more facial hair than I do. I don't grow a really effective beard, but I would imagine that makes the heat on your face a little more intense.
So we're going to see a little team run versus team defense here. Probably the closest thing we'll see to a quote-unquote scrimmage in this first half of the Michigan State spring football kickoff. And our first look at Nathan Carter in live action, the UConn transfer in there receiving the football. Caden Hauser, his quarterback. And we talked extensively about Nathan Carter a little bit earlier, but a guy who was a physical runner at UConn.
Does have some wiggle, some make you miss, but more so as a one-cut type of back, not someone who's going to spend a bunch of time trying to, wiggle and be someone making a bunch of moves as a runner.
Little miscommunication there on the exchange under center. Caden Hauser last year was the first true freshman quarterback to get game experience since Nick Foles in 2007 here at Michigan State. And don't make any mistake about it, he's young, but he is in the competition at QB. as Carter is swallowed up by Michigan State's defensive line.
For Nathan Carter, because he hadn't been in the offensive system before, there's certainly some of the guys more experienced in Jay Johnson's offense that are just more comfortable with landmarks, with their footwork as running backs, with how and where it times up to receive the football at the mesh point. And that's key in how the run game will time up. So these are still, even though, you know, it's not full tilt live, but every rep that a guy like Nathan Carter gets in this system will allow him to become more and more effective by the time you get to the fall.
And now here's Jaron Mangum, the USF transfer. And they hit Malik Carr over the middle of the field. Michigan State fans saw that a couple of times at the end of last season. Touchdowns in back-to-back games to close it out.
He's got really quiet hands, does Malik Carr. As a quarterback, it enhances your confidence in throwing the football to individuals, not only a big body like Malik Carr, but just when they make it look easy and comfortable catching the football.
Now Peyton Thorne handing it off to Mangum. Little wiggle there from Mangum. And a big pickup. Jaron Mangum is a guy who had a previous relationship with Mel Tucker. When Mel Tucker was the head coach at Colorado, he recruited Jaron there. He spent 2 seasons at Colorado. And look at these blocks by the wide receivers. Antonio Gates Jr. was in there. Cade McDonald, a guy we haven't talked about yet, but the 5th-year senior from Naperville, Illinois. He's been a punt return guy at times.
We love Naperville area talent here with the Spartans. Had a few of those on the roster in recent years. One of them on their way to the National Football League, Jake Reed.
Jalen Berger on the carry, last year's leading rusher. Another look.
It's even a small look at what I meant there, just in the timing of the run game. A slight hesitation for Jalen Berger, a slight side shuffle, and then attacking downhill. The run game just times up better when you're more accustomed to how these things are supposed to operate before you attack the hole.
I know we're not going full contact here, but they seem to be running the ball pretty well on this set.
Certainly love the cohesion being seen up front on the offensive line. That ends up making a big difference whether you're going zone blocking scheme, gap blocking scheme. You want the offensive linemen working next to each other. Some of that is the pre-snap communication to make sure whether you're running, if you're going to be in a single block situation, if you are going zone, you're seeing the offensive line pointing at the opposing defenders, hitting the landmarks that they're supposed to hit.
Noah Kim handing it off to Davion Prim, and he is stuffed and strung out. Noah Kim, of course, one of 3 QBs in that position battle, and Davion Prim coming back over from defensive back. He was a running back to start his career, went to D-back, now back at running back, and has elevated the depth in that position group. You talked about the competitiveness, of number 14, Noah Kim. He went 41-2 as a high school starter. Guy's a winner.
He did it in the midst of a time, did Noah Kim, where he was on his way to back-to-back undefeated state championship seasons, broke his leg during his junior year of high school in the playoffs, was able to return, broke his femur in a fairly ugly manner, was able to return in time to play his senior year and still have another exceptional season. And you can think about that, how that can sort of negate the development of a young football player to miss that chunk of time during some formative years of his development. But now it really seems that his physical development is really turning on as well.
Jordan Sims, a good physical run there, picking up a pseudo first down for the Michigan State offense. Just to close out your point on Noah Kim, we were talking to Mel Tucker about him. Love his nickname for Noah Kim. He calls him Slim Shady because he is sneaky, athletic. He told us he's one of the top 15 fastest guys on the roster.
We wonder if there's even a package of plays that they may end up instituting in the offense just to get Noah Kim involved in some ways.
We did see him last year in a handful of blowout games. As we send it back down to Darian Harris and Mel Tucker after the first half of this spring football kickoff.
Coach, you've had an opportunity to watch the first half of action, gotten to a little bit more of 11-on-11 there. What have you seen from the first half that has you optimistic going forward?
Yeah, I like the way our guys are competing. really good competition in these positions. Technique and fundamentals is a huge emphasis. So our guys are very coachable, they're very dialed in, they're very focused. And that's what you have to do to be able to get better in a practice like this.
Thank you, Coach. We'll see you in the second half.
Thank you, Darian. Thank you, Mel. First half of action is all done. We will see more of what we just saw to close the first half at the start of the second half. So don't go anywhere if you want to see some more pads popping here in East Lansing. Spring football returns to Detroit Sunday, April 30th at Ford Field. Bring the whole family to witness pro football history in the making. Buy your tickets today, usfl.com. We've got spring football cooking here in East Lansing. 1 half down, 1 half to go. He is Anthony Herron.
It is cooking. Pretty hot here.
Darian Harris might be cooking down on the sideline. It's 85 degrees here in East Lansing. Not something we're accustomed to, but great to see. Huge crowd on hand. I know we're not seeing a ton of traditional spring game 11 on 11, but we are seeing some good positional battles, some one-on-ones. What stood out to you so far this afternoon?
Sometimes you get lip service from a coach when he's saying especially the quarterback position may be up for grabs, but we're seeing them mix the QBs with different position groups. We're seeing not only Peyton Thorne with the starting receivers and offensive line, we're seeing Caden Hauser, Noah Kim, all these different guys behind center. They're sort of melding and mixing different groups together, and it's showing that they're giving everyone a legit opportunity.
It is truly a positional battle from quarterback down to long snapper. We'll have more football after the break here at Spartan Stadium. Tuesday, don't miss Big Ten softball when the Spartans clash with Michigan in a rivalry matchup. Live coverage begins Tuesday, 6 Eastern, only on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Welcome back inside Spartan Stadium for the Michigan State football spring kickoff. Peyton Thorne running a little 8-rep offense against defense here as we get a look at the schedule. They will play Washington again as they did last year. That was a really tightly contested game. Michigan State fell short there. And then we get into Big Ten play, which is really what everyone watching this channel cares about. And the Big Ten, as always, Anthony, is a deep league from top to bottom. But Michigan State feels like they can compete in this conference at a much higher level here in 2023 than we saw last year.
You think back to the game that was played in Seattle last year against the Washington Huskies. That was the first big example that the defense was going to have some struggles last season. So I would imagine that may be one that these Spartan Dogs, especially the ones in the secondary, are going to have circled on their calendar. Kalen DeBoer, former Hoosiers offensive coordinator. Michael Penix Jr., former Indiana quarterback, out there with the Huskies right now. They've seen those guys in the past. Didn't go so well for them trying to shut them down last year. I would imagine that one circled up for this season.
So right now we are seeing the #1 offense. Play action pass from Thorne, showing a little wiggle. And his receiver in the flat, Jaron Mangum, not looking for the pass.
You wonder a little bit, certainly I do, about what the mental hurdles may be for a Peyton Thorne, a really competitive guy, son of a football coach, of course, like we've talked about a lot over the years here on the network, but having that additional challenge to his job, not being granted or guaranteed anything going through the spring and towards the fall. Does he feel like he needs to press a little bit as the more experienced QB to showcase that there's a gap between himself and the younger quarterbacks?
Noah Kim on the rollout and well covered. Ote was there with the pass rush. He's another guy that we haven't talked about a lot with regard to linebackers, but you see him, number 10 in the middle of your screen, does a really good job of watching the eyes of the quarterback.
And that's where, as a linebacker, his assignment wasn't necessarily to blitz, but once Noah Kim as a quarterback broke the pocket, that's where Ote was able to effectively turn it into a green dog blitz into the extended play. Comes from a football family. His brother, Palaiene Ote at Ohio State as well. We're talking about how deep the linebacker position is. We haven't necessarily mentioned Jordan Hall yet, but Ote, a linebacker who's been here for a couple of seasons now. Jordan Hall, someone who they're very excited about that's come in as a freshman, you should have younger guys pushing Cal Haladay, not necessarily for playing time, but just for the rotational depth. I'm using the term competitive depth a lot because that's where it ends up mattering. You know, how physical can you be once you get into regular season practice, and make sure that a Jordan Hall is going to be as prepared as possible. You're looking at him right there, number 5 in the white jersey, fighting off blocks, reading. And one term that they use for this Spartans defense is very important for a young football player like Hall is loud and wrong. Just communicate like a banshee. Make sure everyone is on the same page. And even as a linebacker, if you're not telling them the right thing to do, as long as everyone's doing the same thing, you still have a chance at success.
Handoff here to Simmons, a returner that Michigan State fans know well, the senior from Marietta, Georgia. Wasn't utilized a ton last year, but somebody who is also in the mix in the running back room as they replace a couple of the reserves who cycled in last year. Jarek Broussard moving on to the NFL, Elijah Collins transferring out. There is Hauser. He was looking for Parachek, one of the exceptional freshmen, a 4-star coming in at a top 10 tight end. But one thing we talked about early on, defensive backfield. They are young, replacing a number of guys with starting experience, 4 moving on to the NFL draft. But they do bring in Jim Salgado, who for the last 6 seasons was with the Buffalo Bills. They feel like he'll really bolster that room.
Another one of these position coaches has been added to the staff that Mel Tucker's known for a long time. He and Jim Salgado have a relationship that goes back. And so now he comes in to put his imprint, make his impact on the secondary, how they operate in the defensive backfield.
Lee Carr had it bounce off his hands there as he was nearly wrapped up by Cal Haladay. Harlan Barnett, of course, longtime coach. Safety position, Xavier Henderson, Kendall Brooks, those 2 moving on. And so nickel and safety, big question mark on the defensive side. Who's going to play where? Jaden Mangum was somebody, the brother of Jaron Mangum, transfer running back, who got a lot of time last year as a redshirt freshman.
You lose Xavier Henderson, who was the leader both vocally, physically, schematically for that defensive backfield for several seasons. So without him back there, who can take that mantle? Who can be the guy for the DBs to make sure everyone's lined up correctly, to keep everyone on task, to be that additional coach on the field? Makes a huge difference.
Noah Kim showing some of his craftiness and flips it out to Jack Nickel.
We are looking at
that was Trey Mosley on the catch.
One of the veterans here at the receiver position. He's made a lot of plays for the Spartans the last couple of seasons, but we are seeing where right now, even though the bodies on the field are 11 versus 11, the defensive front, offensive line not going at live tempo right now, so it's almost more of a 7-on-7 receive, but you can still get high-speed repetition for the quarterback and pass catchers versus the linebackers and the DBs. And that's because of one of the things we've touched on earlier, was that they are, if there's anywhere they're a little bit thin right now in the spring, it is that defensive front, so you don't want to overtax your D-line. And Mel Tucker was speaking about that to us this week, just in making sure that they're being very intentional with how they're getting work for particular guys at particular positions, making sure in whatever way you can, you minimize that possibility, the potential of injury that could be there.
Here's Peyton Thorne, the 2-year captain. Just flips it out to Davion Prim on the edge. Talked a lot about the quarterback competition this spring. It was funny when we were chatting with Mel Tucker, and you mentioned something called lip service earlier. He said there's no lip service about the quarterback competition. A lot of people think, yeah, okay, Peyton Thorne, 2-year captain, 2-year starter, record-breaking 2021. He told us a really interesting story, did Mel Tucker, about his time in the NFL with Romeo Crennel.
And Romeo Crennel being one of the more tenured defensive coordinators and then becoming a head coach with the Cleveland Browns. And Mel Tucker spoke to us about just the fact that Romeo Crennel pointed out to him, you know what, Mel, you're my defensive coordinator. I love the fact that you're trying to rest a few of the veterans. Don't do it too much, especially with these particular guys. I need them to make sure that they know they got to show up every day and show that they can still get it done. They know they have to show up and still earn it day in and day out. And when you have players across the board preparing with urgency, preparing, frankly, like they're playing time, like their job is on the line. That's where you can continue to nurture the most development out of them.
Told us one particular story. He and Romeo were chatting, and there was one NFL veteran. He had been on the team a while. He had been in the league a long time, and he said, I want to see him get extra reps. He needs to prove it again and again and again at this level. And that really stuck with Mel Tucker. And this year in particular, they've really had competition at every position as Jackson Morse takes the pass from Caden Hauser.
I think with Caden Hauser in particular here as a young quarterback, you can tell he's got a really live arm. And what I do like, even in some of the errant passes, you can see that his eyes are going to the right place. He's getting through his read progressions, I think, in a pretty effective manner. Perhaps not as quickly, not as efficiently as a couple of the older guys, but he doesn't necessarily seem confused by the coverage that he's looking at here. And then from there, that's where some of the natural talent with his arm can continue to take over more and more. But you're seeing a guy developing mentally. Interesting by comparison, Noah Kim, by comparison mentally with where Peyton Thorne is. Peyton Thorne has obviously had all the game reps, but Noah Kim has been in this system for 3 years just like he has.
Get all the news and highlights from around the conference on the Big Show tonight at 9 Eastern on the Big Ten Network. I'm sure we'll be talking lots of football. This is one of 3 spring games going on today. Penn State coming off the Rose Bowl. They are playing, and Ohio State as well. The Buckeyes wrapping up their spring today over in Columbus.
Quarterback battles, both those games as well. QB job open in Columbus, QB job open in State College. This is the program right here. When you're looking at the Big Ten East Division, I mean, there are very few players, really frankly, around the country, but certainly in the Big Ten, that are experienced to the level that Peyton Thorne has and have a resume of built-up success in their rear view like a Peyton Thorne. So it's not something to be taken for granted by Michigan State Spartans fans. With the transfer portal, with everyone looking around, just kind of wondering where do we get the next hot commodity and who's that quarterback we can get from elsewhere, it's kind of become a thing lately, Matt, where after someone's seen their quarterback for a couple of seasons, the fan base maybe gets a little bit impatient with that development, but experience can really be hugely key. We saw that play out with a couple of teams last season in the Big Ten.
All right, so we have changed periods. We're now seeing #1 offense against #1 defense. You see here Nathan Carter receiving the pass from Peyton Thorne. Read into this what you will on April 15th.
Well, there's a certain glimmer that that I feel like we can kind of detect from certain coaches talking about particular players. And it does seem that Nathan Carter has been a player that they've been impressed by in his early time here as a Spartan.
I know you're impressed by Cal Halladay. He just blew that run play up from the linebacker spot.
Well, we've gotten into another live period here. So, they're being very systematic with how and when they do that. So the defensive line got a little bit of a rest in the previous period. Now they're coming off the ball. They're hitting blocks. You're seeing folks running around and putting some bodies on the ground.
Thorne over the middle to Montori Foster. Another guy that we didn't see a ton of last year. He was dealing with a fracture in his foot. Had the screws removed this offseason. Feels like a totally new guy, he told us.
It's great when you have a previous season that can be frustrating for the team on the field, but then even the individual players within that can have frustration in situations where they've dealt with injury, try to battle through a few things, work their way back in the lineup. Montori Foster, one of those players who went through that. Christian Fitzpatrick, another receiver, battled through some things, tried to work his way back into the lineup when he could.
All right, so now here is Noah Kim with the #1 offense. Off the play action, going deep for Foster, and overshot him on the near sideline.
And even though Noah Kim, certainly isn't as statuesque as some of the other players, certainly not as thickly built as a Caden Hauser may be, but he does have a really live arm. even for a guy who's a little more slender. You reference Mel Tucker. I mean, his nickname is Slim Shady. But he's got a live arm for a quarterback of his frame. So we talked about his mobility a lot, but he's not someone who's going to force the issue looking to take off and run. He may extend the play with frequency, but while he's on the move, Spartan fans have seen that already in the reps he got last season, but he can throw it effectively while on the run.
Jared Manham lowering the boom after a pickup of double digits. Now getting some reps with the #1 offense.
Forward lean here, adding that physicality to the run game.
He's a guy they're excited about. Over 1,200 yards, 23 touchdowns in 31 career games between South Florida and Colorado. Part of his time with the Buffaloes was while Mel Tucker was the head coach.
Not every quarterback can pivot out on a bootleg action, rolling left, and be able to turn their shoulders and their hips while still maintaining some accuracy to throw comfortably while rolling left back across their body. Peyton Thorne can do that pretty effectively. Noah Kim, we've seen during the regular season last year, and that was an example there, even though it wasn't a completion. But as far as just expanding your playbook, giving your offense versatility, to have a quarterback with the physical ability to do that, it's something else the defense really has to factor into a game plan.
Kim over the middle and well played defensively. I believe that was Angelo Gross with the pass breakup. Somebody who got a handful of starts last year, both at the nickel and the safety spot.
Angelo Gross, a veteran player in this defense. He's seen that outcut happen time and time again. It's good eye discipline from Gross, and then driving on the route. It's one thing to get that great pass deflection. You wonder, okay, what's the next phase of development? Can you drive on that route and an angle more downhill, turn that into an interception?
Kim does a nice job of stepping up there and hitting Mangum in the flat. That's one of the positional battles that obviously is not getting the same amount of attention as the quarterback battle, but running back, massive implications at that position between now and the start of fall football.
It'll be huge. Now, of course, quarterback, you're likely to see one of those mainly behind center, but running back, you can roll a lot of bodies through. So when you have depth there, even depth you've added from the transfer portal, we're not necessarily seeing where it's chasing running backs away from East Lansing, because we know they recognize that from a positional perspective, there's going to be opportunities for their position group to share carries, as long as you have a variety of guys who show they have a chance to get the job done.
And now we'll get to see Caden Hauser in some live action as Noah Kim heads to the bench. Hauser, of course, the redshirt freshman, top-ranked quarterback recruit at Michigan State since 2013. You want to talk about a live arm. Coaches raise their eyebrows a lot when he's throwing the football in spring practice.
I wonder if we'll see that in this more live setting. Will Caden Hauser attack vertically? We haven't seen him do that much yet in practice.
A little read option here for Berger. He's taken down at the 30.
One-on-one coming up front between the big guys.
Just announced in the stadium, one-on-one. O-line and D-line.
That was actually me. I was just calling for some one-on-one pass rush.
My guy next to me here, Anthony Herron's been looking forward to this all afternoon.
It's another controlled way that you can get plausibly live reps between your big guys. You want to see, I mean, it's a drill that in theory should be advantage defense, because you've got that offensive lineman on an island. You can create space, have a two-way go. And by two-way go, meaning you can either try to beat them around the edge or counter back towards the inside.
One-on-one O-line, D-line. There's also some 7-on-7 with the skill players going on across the field. Nice rush there From Tumishe Adelea, the transfer we were telling you about earlier in the day, number 52. He will be a name that probably is known in every Michigan State fan's household come this fall, the transfer from Texas A&M. We will step aside, and when we come back, more spring football action in East Lansing.
Hey, AJ Hogarth. What's up, AJ?
The Michigan State spring football finale coming to a close this afternoon in East Lansing. It's been a great day. Lots of fans on hand. Spartan Nation excited about what 2023 could bring for a football team that was disappointed about how last year unfolded with injuries, suspensions, going 5-7, missing a bowl game. Not something that happens around here a whole lot. But they returned 30 players, Anthony, with starting experience, including 13 true starters from a year ago, and bring in the words of Mel Tucker, the best transfer portal class he has had at Michigan State.
That is a big statement from Mel Tucker, who's kind of been the face of the transfer portal the last couple of seasons in college football. So when he says this is the best transfer portal class that he's brought in, you add it to some of the excitement that they have for some of the younger enrollees here, some of the freshmen. 7 freshmen that signed their letters of intent showed up here in January. So we've got a lot of bodies on campus right now who are new to Spartans football. You just saw a one-on-one pass rush rep there from Jacoby Windman. He's a player who was new to Spartan football last year and was really pretty effective and productive right off the bat.
Guy who led the nation with 6 forced fumbles, only played 8 games last year and led the country. He was also named the 3-time Defensive Player of the Week in the Big Ten, first time ever in Spartans history having a player named 3-time Defensive Player of the Week.
And even if that were the only thing he was special at, which he does have a counter move, but that speed chop, the way he can get up the field with that, it puts speed in the feet of the offensive tackle and can just force the quarterback to feel that pressure off the edge. They haven't had many other guys here in recent seasons who can bring that type of speed around the corner.
I want to go back to something you just mentioned a second ago. 7 freshmen. In a freshman class, by the way, that's the best in Mel Tucker's tenure. They had 8 4-star guys signed in December. You said 7 of them are here now. They got here in January. How big of a difference does that make, Anthony, for a freshman to come in and go through spring ball versus just coming in during fall camp?
It can allow you to get your class schedule together, to get comfortable with how you're going to just operate as a college student. And then by the time you're getting into, you go through spring practice, by the time you're approaching the fall, now you at least have your feet wet with how campus life operates. And then when you're trying to focus on football, you're capable of multitasking in a way where you're not overwhelmed because you just showed up.
Good run here from Jalen Berger. We're seeing 2 offense versus 2 defense. And again, I don't know how much those of you at home should read into who's on the field.
The depth chart isn't set yet.
Coaches have told us and reiterated time and time again, the depth chart is not set at any position. But we do see Noah Kim here running the offense for the Spartans. Another flare to Berger. He had the ball in his hands a lot last year, the leading rusher and one of the top 5 pass catchers for the Spartans on offense a season ago.
Got a good look at the way that he's capable of just plucking the football out of the air, just looking very comfortable and natural with his receiving ability. I'd love to see that be a way that this offense expands in the way that they're able to utilize Jalen Berger.
Now Teote down on the field, gripping that left arm. Didn't quite see exactly what happened. Hopefully it's nothing serious as play resumes. He's a guy that figures to be in the mix at the linebacker position. Got a number of snaps there last year. Kim airing it out and a catch. No, it's out of the hands of Montori Foster. Looked for a second like he was going to bring it in. Finally, we get to see a vertical pass.
And out of the 3 quarterbacks, Noah Kim has been the one who's most frequently tried to attack vertically. There were a couple of hole shots that he threw earlier, trying to fit it in between the corner and the safety. So there's an attack mentality that Mel Tucker, that Jay Johnson really value within this offense. We'll go back to a couple of snaps ago when Ma'ana Ote was involved in that tackle with Jalen Berger, extended that left arm out, brought Berger down. They had to take him and help him to the sideline from there. And it may have looked odd. I'm sure some fans at home noticed that they just began to run the next practice snap while a player was on the ground injured. Remember, this is not a true, certainly not a regular season game, not a true game setting. That's frequently how it goes in football practice when the offense is moving away from where an injured player is. You just make sure you're about 15 yards or so away, and they very quickly helped Ma'ana Ote off the field to the sideline.
54 snaps at linebacker last year, 50 on special teams. Kim showing that elusiveness and finds Kate McDonald across the middle of the field.
There's a little something to the game of Noah Kent. There does seem to be just kind of a knack for finding seams, finding lanes to extend the play, a willingness to attack vertically, but also the ability to change his arm slot and deliver the ball in a variety of ways. I really like what I've seen from Noah Kim today, both not only the physical ability, the mobility, but also just where he's at mentally and finding those attack moments.
Hauser off the play action. What a catch. Tyrell Henry ripping it down with one hand. Didn't have a single catch last year. Mainly played on special teams. Look at this grab.
This should count for 2 grabs. I mean, he snatches it out of the sky with one hand. It's like one of those old school stick 'em grabs. Made it look easy.
A little extra stick on the gloves this spring. He hasn't worn them out too much. Ball on the 10-yard line here for Hauser. Hand off to Prim. And he scampered for about 3. And Ote heading to the locker room now. And you hope it was just maybe like a stinger or something like that. They have been relatively healthy all spring long. Nobody that we've heard of anyway out for an extended period of time.
Certainly hope that Ma'ana Ote would be okay. They were favoring that left arm as they took him back towards the locker room.
Flag came in. There are some officials for these portions of spring ball just to give the guys a little bit more realistic look. Only 15 spring practices, including the spring game. As you get a look there at Adalea, the transfer from Texas A&M. Got to make every day count in spring ball, and it's part of the reason why Mel Tucker opted to use this format versus a white on green scrimmage, splitting the team down the middle. Felt like they didn't have the numbers on the defensive line to really make that as competitive as this is right here.
And as systematic as they wanted it to be, as targeted as they were wanting the reps to be for individual position groups, matching them up in productive ways.
This a 3rd down. Hauser to the end zone, and it's overthrown.
That's one of the few times I would say Caden Hauser and his intended target didn't appear to be on the same page. It looked like Hauser was expecting more of an in cut there, and for whatever reason, the pass sailed on him, went errant.
All right, now can they convert on 4th down? This is a scripted 4th down here. 4 wide receivers set, Prim in the backfield. Hauser over the middle, and he finds Parachek for a 1st down. And Hauser making sure everybody knows he got the 1st down there.
And part of the reason you put, especially a young player in that scenario, 4th down, but not 4th and goal, 4th where you can still pick up a 1st down, you want to make sure he's at least going to attack beyond the sticks to move the chains.
So this is the last period. It's a 2-minute drill-esque, 57 seconds left in the game. You need a touchdown. This is the stuff we used to do in the backyard, right?
Oh, man, and you're putting your offense in this competitive position. You're putting your defense in this competitive scenario as well. And there's so many situations throughout the game. I mean, 2-minute drill, we usually think end of half, end of game. But now with modern football, because of the volume of passing that comes up, and frankly, just because of the tempo that's there for so many teams that aren't huddling on a regular basis, a lot of the game feels like a bit of a 2-minute drill. So this is extremely beneficial to the offense, but then also to the defense as well.
And there were a number of close games last year that Michigan State was in. And in this league, in the Big Ten, where the margin of error is so thin, how many games have we seen come down to a successful 2-minute drill or a defense, conversely, stopping it?
Good on good. Looks like a lot of the presumed starters on each side of the ball on the field versus each other right now.
Berger and Thorne in the backfield. And Thorne finds Fitzpatrick for a near first down. Remember, 57 seconds. You need a touchdown. Thorne on the out route connects with Carr. He is a presumed starter at tight end. Their only returning tight end with game experience, had 2 touchdowns in the last 2 games of the season last year.
At the top of your screen is a defensive pass rusher. Jacoby Windman now in their subgroup, back to defensive end as opposed to back as an off-ball linebacker.
And they moved him all over the field last year. Wreaked havoc in the 8 games he played. Thorne over the middle, and Berger tagged. No hitting in this period, just tagging for the defense. And a timeout taken by the offense.
Defense is back in a zone coverage, so Cal Halliday securing the tackle, short of the stick, so offense has to use a timeout. That's where situationally on defense, you're aware of that as well, making sure you attack at an angle where you can secure the tackle in bounds, forcing the offense to use a timeout.
A real water break, like we're playing an actual game here. TV timeout on the field. There are 34 seconds left in this final period, which is a you have to score with 57 seconds left. You see Peyton Thorne there chatting it up with quarterback coach and offensive coordinator Jay Johnson.
But you want these things to feel natural when you get to the regular season.
Yep.
You get in a real game setting. You want your body, you want your mind to feel like it's been here before, because the pressure and intensity will be heightened when you're actually in a regular season moment.
2nd and 5 for the offense. Thorne, wide side of the field and caught by Trey Mosley, and a foot race, and he's dragged down inside the 15.
It was a great ball from Peyton Thorne as Mosley was on the outcut. He led Mosley away from the man coverage corner, and that allowed this run after catch. Great placement on the football from Peyton Thorne. So Mosley snags it with both hands, and then he can continue his angle up the field.
Thorne almost taken down and just throws it away. Jaden Reed leaving the program, now entering the NFL draft. When asked about Trey Mosley, said he's got the best hands I've ever seen.
That's high praise.
Coming from a guy going to the NFL.
All right, Jaden Reed is going to be at least a high day 2 draft pick in the National Football League just a couple of weeks from now.
They call him OG, Trey Mosley. He's only 21, but he's the most veteran guy in the wide receiver room. Hard to believe in this era of college athletics where you've got 23 and 24-year-olds at some positions. Thorne with 22 seconds. Using his legs. Thorne in the end zone, and a touchdown for Peyton Thorne. Showing off the mobility. That got the crowd off their seats.
They could see the gaping lane that opened up for him as a runner. Crowd began to rise when Peyton Thorne took off. I'm sure there's a defender or two who would claim in a truly live setting they would have had a chance to dive at his legs to get him down.
You touch the guy with the red jersey, you might not see the field again the rest of the year. Do you ever make that mistake?
I have a time or two.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was it a true mistake?
I mean, when I hit Mike Vick in practice, it was a true mistake. When I hit, maybe a backup quarterback in college, not so much.
Boy, he had to be hard to tackle, Mike Vick. Man.
That's a mistake you try not to make multiple times.
Yeah, right. So Peyton Thorne showing off the legs with a 15-yard scamper to the end zone. And now same type of deal here, but it's Noah Kim's turn to run the offense. 57 seconds to score. And again, defense not going full go, just a tag, like a two-hand touch at recess. He has Mangum in the backfield. And dumps it over the middle to Jerron Glover.
I like the nuance to the movement of Noah Kim in the pocket. He doesn't overdo it. He's not sort of helter-skelter looking to take off and run.
Flag on the play as Kim airs it out, and a diving interception attempt just out of the hands on that play. Excellent effort by Khalil Majid, but it would have been negated anyway by the flag. So they'll repeat third down here on a 5-yard penalty. Alex Van Sumeren on one knee. His brother Ben entering the NFL draft.
Good to see. Van Sumeren able to stroll off the field under his own power. Sub in for him. We've talked a few times here about the vertical pass, the willingness to attack downfield. And Noah Kim is the quarterback who's done that most frequently throughout our time here at Spartan Stadium today. And it's one thing to dial up the programmed deep ball shot, say, all right, it's flea flicker time, go ahead and sail it down the field and see what you get. But just within the framework of the designed offense, you're seeing Noah Kim willing to put pressure on that secondary, not only with his legs, which he's one of the faster players on this team, but he's putting pressure on the secondary with his arm. I like seeing that.
Kim over the middle, connects again with his wide receiver.
Ball comes out hot too. I mean, it's catchable, but you see a quick sort of boogie whip action with his throwing motion. It's a nice catchable tight spiral.
Hit Jalen Franklin, the Wisconsin transfer at tight end, and now he hits Antonio Gates Jr. on the sideline. A big pickup for first down. And the clock stops. 18 seconds left in this period with 57 seconds to score a touchdown, and now Jay Johnson wants a timeout.
I'll tell you, man, it's, you gauge things through a certain prism when you're just watching a scrimmage scenario in the middle of April, but I'm very impressed with what I've seen today from Noah Kim. You see a guy who's very intentional with his movements within the pocket. He's very decisive with where he wants to deliver the football, and even as he extends the play, whether he climbs the pocket vertically, if he begins to extend the play laterally, we're seeing a quarterback that's doing it with a purpose.
We've been told that Noah Kim has sort of had that prove-it mentality that Mel Tucker talked to us about so much leading into this spring game. He just kind of said, bring it on. Bring on the competition. I'm ready. He was the backup last year. Feels like he really actually can be the starter for this team in 2023.
It was funny, Mel Tucker told us the other day that, Noah Kim and a couple of his other quarterbacks, frankly, were at this academic event the other day, and Noah Kim's mom was there, and she kind of, got over near Mel Tucker and gave him a little nudge, like, hey, what's the deal here? And Mel Tucker said, I like your son, just let's see what happens here, but I like what your son's doing.
He's got 17 seconds here. Airs it out. Antonio Gates Jr. It's a touchdown. The son of the great NFL Hall of Famer Antonio Gates. And what did Mel Tucker tell us? Junior's in the mix this year at the wide receiver position. That was a heck of a catch and throw.
You see a natural pass catcher, very soft hands, and the placement of that football from Noah Kim.
Nothing like going to commercial break in his spring practice with a beautiful 30-yard touchdown. Noah Kim to Antonio Gates Jr. We'll be back to wrap it up at East Lansing next. Well, thanks for joining us all afternoon in East Lansing. We are wrapping up the spring football kickoff, the final of 15 days of spring ball for this Michigan State Spartans football team that really feels good about where this team is at this spring. Mel Tucker told us, and Jay Johnson echoed these sentiments. We're in a different position than we were this time a year ago. And he likened it, Anthony, to the vibe he got from his team going into 2021 We know how successful that year was for the Spartans.
And the vibe is a bit more understated than it was going into last year. There's still certainly a confidence about it, but because the noise around the program isn't as loud, then it's almost like it's allowing Mel Tucker, his staff, his players, the ones that have been here, and even the ones that have been added to Spartans football here over the offseason, to operate under the radar a little bit more. But you can really sense the confidence, and seeing certainly the players who you know come in with some resumes that they've added that were on the sideline today, but even the guys that were on the field here, there's a lot to be impressed by.
Well, Mel Tucker told us he feels like it's the best transfer portal class he's brought in. Told us every single guy we brought into the portal has a chip on his shoulder. Likewise for the freshmen, the best freshman recruiting class he has brought in since he started here at Michigan State. This is their schedule. It all kicks off on September the 2nd against Central Michigan, the big non-conference game everyone's got scheduled. Rematch with the Washington Huskies. That'll be here at the Woodshed on September the 16th. And then the gauntlet of all gauntlets that you know so well, Big Ten football, starts for Michigan State. Homecoming, 9:23 against Maryland.
We'll see. You know, no one knows for sure yet that if this ends up being one of the last seasons that there's an East and the West and the Big Ten. Michigan State operating in what I feel like is the deepest division in college football. So it can be an uphill climb when you're trying to compete. You know, every season you got Ohio State and Michigan and Penn State. But they've been able to navigate that in a more than competitive way, and this coming fall should be no different.
And you can tell by the turnout today. People are excited to see what this 2023 team is all about, Anthony. They fell short last year, 5-7. They have the talent, the depth, the health this year. What's your takeaway from Michigan State spring football?
Out of anything, man, there's a lot of players, a lot of playmakers we saw on the field today. Really excited about Keon Coleman, even though he wasn't a part of the live action. I'll tell you what, Noah Kim, he gives me even an enhanced belief in what Mel Tucker is talking about here with this quarterback battle being open. It's hard to sit a guy who started for multiple seasons and made plays like Peyton Thorne, but I understand why Noah Kim gives them some pause in that.
Peyton Thorne scored a 15-yard touchdown in the 57 seconds to score a TD. We saw Noah Kim air it out. He went vertical to Antonio Gates Jr. for a 30-yard touchdown pass to cap off this spring football finale. Mel Tucker's group excited about what the 2023 fall could bring to East Lansing. For our entire Big Ten crew, Darian Harris, Anthony Herron, I'm Matt Schumacher signing off from the Woodshed in East Lansing.